Hey everybody, welcome back to another edition of Real Estate Uncensored. I am ecstatic that we have got an amazing show. We have some legendary guests, all from south of the border in a beautiful country of Belize. Mr. Jeff Coats has been able to set up an amazing array of guests who have a wealth of knowledge of how to buy real estate out of country. Double, triple, quadruple, even more your money if you buy right, and a lot of people don't. So if you don't, then you're just not talking to the right people. That's why we put this show together, and we are pumped to have Josh. We're pumped to have Jonathan. I'm going to bring you guys in a second, but I need to welcome the evil bald ninja, Mr. Gene Volpe. How are you, Bubba Cakes?
What's up, Greg McDizzle? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. We ran through some major technical issues, so we're recording this one.
Yes, and I want to tell you, it feels a little bit like I'm a fish out of water, like I'm doing this podcast in my underwear. Oh, wait a minute, I am.
You are, and that's the weird part about this.
True.
Okay,
that's true.
Things
story.
we never need to know. So we're gonna come
visualize that, bitch.
Burned images in my corneas are just all I'm gonna see is like a bald man in tidy whities dancing through the streets. First, Jeff Coats, man, a returning victim of the show, brought on some legends down in Belize. So, Jeff, man, welcome. Thank you for setting this up. I know you've been working hard on it, getting everyone these men are incredibly busy. So to get them to sit down, and as I clusterfucked the start of the show by not being able to go live, these guys have been patiently waiting. So thank you, gentlemen. Jeff, tell me a little bit who we have on the show today.
We have Josh Frazier. He's the owner of 17 North, which is a real estate company on the Keys of Belize, San Pedro being where he lives. He deals with a lot of the resorts, beachfront living, island living, you name it. Josh has been able to put together a deal to help people retire in Belize. Pretty amazing guy. And then Jonathan owns a real estate company called Ceiba Realty on the mainland of Belize, more out towards the San Ignacio area. But the cool thing about Jonathan, he's lived here his whole life. He covers like all of the river, jungle, islands, part of Belize. And they're both very amazing individuals, hardworking, and they bring a lot of knowledge for purchasing a property, retiring here in Belize, running businesses here in Belize, you name it, they can talk on the subject 100%.
I cannot wait to dive into this. I want to get a little bit of backstory and context. So, Josh, we'll just start with you because you're on the left side of my screen, then we're going to move right. So, Josh, tell me a little bit about you, where you come from, what your background is, and why in the heck did you move to Belize? Help me understand what's going on.
Sure. So I'm about to have my 42nd birthday, so cruising right along there. I've been in Belize full-time for 3 years, but I'm originally from southwest Missouri, a little town called Carthage. Grew up on a farm. Was born and raised there. Then I left, moved to Dallas in 2005, where I worked in the mortgage side of things. I worked with Countrywide, Bank of America. Then after I just got pretty fed up with the corporate rat race, I decided to get my real estate license, joined the Good Home team. It's Nick Good and Austin Good, buddies of mine, joined their team and worked under them for a couple of years. Led me to the opportunity down here in Belize. And, when I was going to Mizzou, I told my mom then that I wanted to quit school and move to Costa Rica. I'd never been to Costa Rica. I'd never even been to Mexico or anything at that point. But I told her if one day she can't find me, Costa Rica is where she'd start looking. And now I have been to Costa Rica and I love it. But so somehow or another, I knew I wanted to do something like this. I don't know how. But it happened to be, not only just financially and just getting into real estate was good for me in any number of ways. But I wouldn't have had this opportunity had I not taken the leap when I did back in Dallas. So, 3 years full time now, cruising right along.
That's awesome, man. That is awesome. Jonathan, give me a little bit of a backstory from you. Now, I hear a rumor that you own half of Belize land. Is the government renting back property from you at this point? Tell me a little bit about kind of where you come from, how you decided to own all that.
I wish I owned that much property. They just like to tease me. I'm not that lucky. But, about 20 years ago, when I was in college, I accidentally got into the real estate business. I really loved it, and I've been doing it ever since. Mm-hmm. I started out as a sole proprietorship, just myself as an independent agent doing real estate. And we've grown over the years. We also do development now besides just the real estate. So we have projects we're developing. I've been doing it for 20 years, mostly in Western Belize, but I cover most of Belize, but we're focused in Western Belize. Feel it's one of the better places to live, value for money, basically meaning the land is cheaper. It's not as discovered as the islands.
Mm-hmm.
It's cooler, less insects,
That's
and
good.
safer from hurricanes.
So there's a lot of check boxes there that Josh is more of a risk taker. He lives by the seat of his pants, is what I'm hearing, right?
Well, I mean, everybody wants to see, right? Everybody wants to see, so the prices out there, you pay for the oceanfront because they ain't making any more of it these days, right?
They sure aren't. And I know that we were talking off air about how, Jonathan, you were saying that, you could buy money in South America, Central America, and basically south of the U.S. border, and you could, especially in Belize, you said you can basically double your money in, I think, 2 years, 5 years, if you did it right. I know there's probably a recipe to that, so I'd love to jump into that with you guys. Jonathan and Josh, explain to me how the real estate works in Belize, because it's different than it works here, right?
Real estate, I believe, is pretty.
I'm sorry, Jonathan, go ahead.
Real estate in Belize is pretty simple. It's based on British common law, so it's easy to understand when compared to the rest of Central America. We have a freehold title system, so anyone can buy property and they own it outright forever. Taxes are very low, sometimes less than 1% of the value of the property, depending where it is.
Wow.
So it's very easy to buy. It's very straightforward. Obviously, there are risks, so it's very important you deal with the right people, a reputable person.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very straightforward to purchase real estate. Anyone can purchase. Taxes are low. There's a one-time stamp duty to title it into your name.
Mm-hmm.
But apart from that, you only have to pay your taxes every year, and minimal. Like 6 Belize an acre for rural land, 10 Belize an acre for land 5 miles within a 5-mile radius of a town or city. I mean, it's really cheap.
That's a pretty affordable. Now, Josh, are you seeing the same thing over on the coast side? Because Jonathan was saying that like it's a little pricier out there, and you got a lot more insects. So, I mean, help me understand your buying your real estate strategy over on the coast.
Yeah, it's definitely different out here. In this island in particular is, we walk a fine line in Belize. It's so on the Keys in particular is because this is where the main tourist draw is. So we get lots of resorts, lots of condos out here. Most people are buying them as second homes or vacation homes. They want to come down a couple of months a year, a couple of weeks a year, and then throw them in a rental pool. So while there are plays out here to buy land, it's not the same kind of prices that Jonathan sees over there because there is so little of it out here on the Keys. But again, because we're sitting right in the Caribbean Ocean, so Caribbean Sea, so everybody wants a piece of that. So it's definitely more expensive out here. I always say that we're as far as Central America goes, this island, the Keys out here is fairly expensive, but as far as the Caribbean goes, it's cheap. So we kind of walk a fine line there between both of those.
Jeff, when you were getting these two legends together, you and I were having some conversations before we started doing this podcast, and you were talking about how maybe sometimes the left hand doesn't talk to the right hand, but there's been a union here between these two brokerages, which is a really unique aspect in your country. So walk me through that a little bit so the listeners can understand how they can reach out to Josh or Jonathan and really start making the real estate work for them south of the border.
I think, when I came here, I was trying to figure out and navigate the whole real estate stuff here, and what I saw was there was a need for people collaborating and working together because there's a lot of listings here, and it's tough when you get a buyer to come to Belize and show them properties, and they might want to see jungle and river, or they might be in San Pedro and they want to see that jungle and river, but there was no real connections made, or they're staying in jungle and river side, and we don't really have a connection on the San Pedro side. And I was getting to know both of these guys relatively at the same time, and I was like, man, if these guys met each other, this would open up a whole different ballgame for us real estate wise across the country. And so it was a no-brainer. Let's put them together and let's make it work.
So go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to say, and one thing to Jeff's point there, this I think is important for people to know, is there is no MLS in Belize. So we don't have that centralized database to search properties, to look for listings, or even to pull out historical data. So each company, each brokerage basically runs their own website. Of course, when you do all your Facebook ads and your Google Works and all that stuff. But ultimately, there are companies that have been here for 30 years that don't work with anybody. They just sell their own listings and they don't cooperate real well. So Jeff kind of hit on that. That's a culture that I think is changing. And yeah, I mean, by us getting hooked up with Jonathan, that really opened up the jungle for us, because we do have a whole lot of people. They're not sure. Do they want to live on the Keys, or do they want to go live on the river in the mountains? I can't cover everything at all times. So to have those people over there that I know I can say, hey, go see Jonathan, you're in good hands, and I know he's got the coverage. That really has made a huge difference for us. And that's something we're trying to do all over Belize, not just between, Jonathan and my company. But I think all the companies' cultures are starting to change a little bit. And maybe someday we'll have an MLS, but right now we're without.
So why with the absence of the MLS, is it just literally like little tribes of real estate companies and they just sell their stuff, they don't talk to anybody else, and that's the end of the story?
Yeah, well, there's a few. So it's changing, right? So we've got Remax, there's KW, there's Coldwell Banker, then there's a bunch of boutique brokerages, the independent companies like mine and Jonathan's. So we all run our own websites. Now, don't get me wrong. If I have a buyer, of course I want them to buy my listing, but I do take them to, if my properties aren't a fit for them, then we're going to go to whoever's. But there are some agents and some companies that are pretty notorious for not cooperating real well. And there are companies that have never reached out to me to show any of my listings, whether I've showed theirs or not. So it definitely makes things tricky. And I knew that coming in. And so I spent a big part of my first year, I spent just beating down their doors. I'm showing up at all the agents' companies and just sitting down and chit-chatting, just trying to develop that relationship so that we could start getting that co-brokering going on. And it's worked. And I really feel like that as the 3 years have gone by that I've been here, I feel like the culture, everyone is starting to change. There's a few of us around here now that are licensed in the States and have a little bit of that background. So I can see some of the culture changing here now.
Gene,
and one thing that I'm trying to do is do these handshake deals and with these agents across the country, so that are willing to work together. What I'm finding is there's agents that are like, man, I do want to work together with other agents, but my boss or my owner of my brokerage isn't really feeling that or whatever. And so what I've done is created a website called jbez.com where everybody's willing to shake hands. The guys, all the players that are willing to shake hands and share listings and try to work with each other. I'm trying to put them all in one place so that people can come and have a strong website that has the listings in Belize, and then try to find the buyers that want to purchase these listings. That's what it's about, is trying to work together to find buyers to help the sellers sell their properties.
And that's where the Vulpinator or the Evil Bald Ninja, dude, you seriously creep me out when you don't say anything. But let's talk about marketing, from your side as the digital marketer in the group.
Wait, can we hold that? Because I have questions that I think will lead to that. Do you mind?
Sure.
I'm only being quiet because I'm actually surfing their website.
Voyeur.
No, I am. Listen. So can we say the name of the 17 North site or no? Is that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like the site I'm looking at is, now that I
Belize Home Source.
That's it, BelizeHomeSource.com.
BelizeHomeSource.com. And we are going to we've got a new one that's being made right now, which should be ready. So that one will go away, but it'll still direct to the other one. So,
this one looks great, but as it is, and I'm looking specifically at like this Sapphire Beach Condo 10B. So, and I'm not saying that so you can look it up. Like this is just what's going through my head. So first of all, this is sick. Number one, like if it looks half as good as the pictures look. I mean, Greg, while I'm talking, you should jump on that site and look at it, because you and I are going to be having a mandate down there on that.
That sounds
on that porch
so bad.
With it's going to sound worse with some ice cream bananas. You want some of that?
Jesus.
There you go.
Okay, moving forward, gentlemen.
So I have some gringo questions, right? And here they come.
Okay. Yep.
So number one, travel to and from. So tell me a little bit about that. So I'm from Philly. We got a We have, one of the bigger airports in the country. What's that flight time going to look like? Is it easy to get in and out? Like, give me a little bit of travel.
Yeah, it is pretty easy to get in and out. So we've got direct flights right now from Atlanta, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, Houston, Dallas, Denver, LA, and then a couple out of in Canada as well. So you're going to have to get to one of those hubs. From Dallas, it was a 2 hours and 45-minute flight for me from Dallas. That's one reason I kept coming back here every time we'd go to plan our new vacation. We'd say, well, shit, we could be back in Belize quicker than I can get to Vegas. It just became a no-brainer. So you fly into Belize City, and then you don't really want to stay in Belize City, so you're going to go out to either San Ignacio or Placencia or out here to the Keys from there. And those can be done you can rent cars. Most people prefer to take the little putter jumper flight. So let's say 2 hours and 45 minutes from Dallas, 2 hours from Houston into Belize City, then a 15-minute flight, and you're out here on the island.
Wow. That sounds easy enough. And I think, how about travel on the island? Like, are there Ubers?
On the island? There's not. And I'm going to show you this real quick. If you guys, can you see out there out of the window of my office?
Yes, very well, actually, yeah.
Are those golf carts?
They are.
We drive golf carts, yeah.
Yes!
Yeah, dude, you're making your case really well for me right now.
Yes, you are.
I have not driven a car in, it will be 2 years and 3 days. So the last time I was in the States was November 11th, 2 years ago. That was the last time I drove my car. I've been in a couple cars since then, but have not driven one. So.
No shit.
Yeah, that's incredible. So then I have two follow-up questions just by themselves. What's the safety like down there for a guy like me walking around, right?
Yeah, you're fine. I tell most people, just don't be a dumbass and you're fine. Don't go buy cocaine on the back streets at 2 o'clock in the morning. Ask your favorite bartender for that instead.
Ask your favorite bartender.
Yeah, it's as long as you're acting right, you're going to be fine. And Belizeans as a whole are some of the most welcoming, happy people ever. And there's an asshole in every bunch.
Right,
so,
for sure.
And a lot of the crime, so, Belize, there is crime in Belize. A lot of it's petty theft. So if you want something, don't leave it sitting on your golf cart because it's not going to be there when you come back. And then as far as like violent crime, that's most of the time it's in the city, in Belize City, and it's usually young male on young male, kind of the same stuff we see in the States. Some gang activity and stuff
like that.
Yeah, but as far as just, if you're out in the tourist areas or you're in the towns hanging out, not a worry at all, man.
So, okay, and I kind of figured that just in quick research. That's what it looked like to me. Like it doesn't look like it's any worse than me walking around in Center City, Philly, where I'm from. So, I'm not nervous walking around down there. So, I can't imagine I would be there. I'm really not concerned about me. I'm more concerned about the wife and the kids. But how about as far as, I might be jumping ahead here, but let's say I was to pick up that condo we were just talking about for a very inexpensive $269,000. So I get there 2 weeks a year, let's say maybe. Talk to me a little bit about the vacation / Airbnb / rental scenarios down there. Is there that? Talk to me about
absolutely. That. Yeah, absolutely. So, like I mentioned a while ago, the majority of our inventory here on the island, most of those condos, most of those resorts have an on-site property management. There are several companies around here, mine included, that also do property management. So if it is a standalone house or a villa or something that's not in an organized program already, then they can hire whoever they want. Airbnb, VRBO, and somewhere around 65% is a pretty good occupancy on the year. So our busy season is starting here in like 2 weeks. So we go from December up till the end of April. And we're probably 85% booked around the island. So that's our busiest season. Yeah.
Dude, I'm looking at that condo right now, and that thing
is
like that location is legit. Like you
that's
can
crazy.
fall over the railing and land on the beach.
It's as beachfront can be. Yep.
Yeah, that's crazy. And then how about talk to me about the weather patterns? Like obviously December through April gives you guys some good weather, and up here it's wonderful because it's negative 14 degrees, so it's nice to flock, right? But talk to me about weather patterns. It's in the Caribbean, so I can't imagine it's crazy when it comes to hurricanes and stuff. But how about that?
So we're finishing hurricane season right now. We have hardly had any storms or even any threats of anything this year. And it is out here on the island. It differs quite a bit from where the other guys are at. But out here we rarely get to 90 degrees. It's pretty much 85 to 87 degrees every single day. The humidity picks up in the summer until right about now. The humidity starts going away. So our night times right now are still low 80s. But as another month or two goes by, we'll get down into the low 70s at night, and you'll see everybody riding around with jackets and gloves on their golf carts when it gets into 70. Yeah. And of course, the ocean breeze, right? We've always pretty much got a constant breeze out here. So it really is amazing how quickly you acclimate when it's 85 every day, that 68, 71 degrees with that breeze coming in. It'll cool you off for sure.
I immediately got the chills when you said 70 degrees. It sounds like the real estate is, I'm looking at these pictures and the crystal clear water and these prices. I saw a condo for $92,000.
Yeah, there's a couple of them
today, actually. Yeah. I got an offer on that one today, actually. The counter is back in their inbox now.
Do you take MasterCard? I mean, let's go.
We'll figure it out.
Good Lord. But there's, instead of just investments in real estate, there's also like investments in like construction companies, gas stations, just more on the commercial side. I know, Jonathan, you own a lot of those as well. Talk to me about if people are like, okay, hey, I got a house down here, right? I talked to Josh. I got my badass villa chilling on the water, but I want to make some more passive income. Jonathan, what are some other good opportunities for people to pick up some other real estate on the commercial side or maybe on the business side that they can validate coming back down to their house, maybe up in the jungle or on the coast or whatever else? I know that you own a bunch, so walk me through that, because all of this is totally foreign territory for most of the people listening to this. I mean, they're robots. Buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. That's how I've been my entire life. So I'm not knocking them. It's just different. And so, Jonathan, how does that work down in Belize?
A lot of the people who come and invest in Belize, if they just buy land and hold it and hope to sell it for more in a few years, or a lot of people develop it as an Airbnb or a small resort. That's a very popular investment for people coming from the U.S. and Canada. Even from Central Americans who invest here, that's a very popular investment. There's other types of investments you can make. Some people come and invest in small farms, which aren't the most profitable, but it can also be a lot of fun for people. Like a
farm, like you're growing tomatoes, or like a petting farm for ponies. What kind of farm are we talking about?
Most of the people who come here, they're doing either fruit farms or some kind of like a cattle ranch. I had a number of investors from Texas over the years who've come down and done cattle ranches here. I've had a number of investors who have done sugarcane farms. They made deals with the sugarcane factory here, and they have anywhere from a few hundred to a few thousand acres of sugarcane.
Wow.
It can really vary, right? I mean, on a small scale, somebody who's semi-retired, a lot of them do like a little bed and breakfast, a restaurant and bar, some kind of look in San Pedro and Placencia, they do small businesses like an ice cream shop, an internet cafe, restaurant and bar, Airbnb type of business, bed and breakfast. Those are what a lot of people do. Like, it's not as intense. Something when you can slow down, do it as a part-time job.
Interesting, because my mind's moving around on that a lot, because everybody wants a side hustle, and everyone, if you can justify it, go down and maybe do an Airbnb or just do a little farm, have some local folks that are working and living on the property. You come down once a quarter, spend a week or two, you really utilize the businesses. What's the progression that you've seen? Because I know that you're born and bred, you live and breathe real estate in Belize. Did that rhyme? I don't think that rhymed, but it was close. But let's say Greg McDaniel wanted to come down to Belize and buy real estate. So I come down, I talk to you two legends, and I buy a property. I'm a water dog. Well, 3 legends. Sorry, Jeff. Sorry. The Triple J. I'm going to call him the Triple J down there. I come down. I'm a water dog, so I know that I would buy a house on the water because I love to swim. I love to fish. I love to, just spend time in the water. So I buy a house on the water, but I want to justify more time down there. Do you see people buying a farm next, Airbnb, not Airbnb, like a bed and breakfast? Do they buy a gas station? Do they buy a commercial land? What's that kind of progression, and how could you integrate that into your portfolio?
What I see a lot out here is Yeah, sorry, Jonathan, but what I see out here, a lot of people is they've got that 3 to 5 year plan until they want to retire. So they'll come down and they want to be able to come visit the place once to twice a year, and put it in a rental pool so they can let it pay for itself over a handful of years before they actually retire. And I feel like the people who are really successful here, like Jonathan, they've got their hands in all kinds of things. I mean, instead of one little business, they've got the guy's got 2 or 3 restaurants. He owns a couple of properties, a couple of condos, and just it's like an entrepreneur's paradise down here because there's just so many options. And I feel like the people who really do well have got 3, 4 different things going on.
Interesting, Jonathan. For you, obviously, you're gonna probably second that. If we're doing the Greg McDaniel scenario, I bought a house on the water, and I say, Jonathan, you're the legend in the area. You've been here forever. I'm gonna come to you. Here's my pile of money. What should I buy next?
Depending on the level of involvement you want. I mean, if you want to be hands-on and fully involved, right now in my area, I'd say probably a pretty good investment would be some Airbnb rentals. There's a shortage of them, and they're very popular. A lot of people are doing that. If you want to get more in-depth or do something on a bigger scale, you'd have to look at some of the farming opportunities. Another opportunity I've always liked, if you have the money sitting around that's not making you much money, what you can do is you can buy farmland and rent it to local farmers.
Ooh.
It takes a while to recover your investment, but in 10 years, if you get the right piece, you can pretty much recover your investment, and you still have the land. It's not like it's done. You can keep going and renting it for another 10, or then you can take it back and subdivide it as the town has expanded or something. So that's another thing that's very popular, but because of that, it can be hard to find that piece of land, or the entry points can be very high. That's another kind of different approach. Of course, you can do a restaurant and bar, which is very intensive if you want to be really involved, or a nightclub or something like that. A gas station. Gas stations are a little tough for somebody who isn't familiar with Belize to come and get involved in, or a grocery store. The Chinese pretty much have grocery store business locked down.
Those damn Chinese always, that's really interesting because, like you said, both of you guys are talking about how much you want to be involved. I think the typical U.S., and again, I am speaking completely out of my ass because I don't know. I've never been to Belize. So I'm an expert, and actually, it would, in my opinion, coming down there, I'd want to spend some time in my rental, my investment property, and I would also want to kind of not be too involved, but still kind of dip my big toe in every once in a while. So that land idea and renting it to the local farmer sounds amazing. Airbnb sounds amazing. You can justify trips down there. It'd probably take 3 to 4 hours, maybe 5 hours, probably 4 hours to fly down there from San Francisco. It's shorter to fly there than to Hawaii, which that's a long flight, by the way. But I mean, Gene, let's talk about prospecting in Belize and then also from the U.S. to Belize. So, Gene, put on your marketing hat. How would you push this out for agents to show their clients, hey, man, if in Tupelo, Mississippi isn't the best place for you to buy, check out Belize.
Well, the optics on these are incredible. I would be standing on the deck of every single property down there with my high definition camera talking about how I live here and you don't. But you could if you call your boy up, because I can hook you up with this bungalow and it's right up your price alley. Yeah, if it's all video all day, dude, I'd be streaming things out. I don't know. I might even go another level and try to figure out a way to live stream a channel. Just where you can tune in and just look at the water. People are crazy about seeing stuff like that. Like, just have cameras all throughout the city. And, they have them in Wildwood, some of our beach resorts down here. You can tune into these places and look at the streets at night and look at what the ocean looks like. And people tune in just to look at it, just to see what the weather is,
I'm just going to hint this, Josh and Jonathan. That was a big tip.
Yeah.
Jeff, talk to me about marketing in Belize. I know it's different. So how do you guys get the word out about this stuff if people don't know to go to individuals' websites?
Sure. So one thing that all of us are working on together, we collaborated on getting a video, just kind of touching on what Gene was just talking about, is getting a video of a few of the listings in San Pedro. just some of the listings here with Jonathan, putting them together in a video that we can market through Facebook, Instagram, through social media, stuff like that, to find borrowers, buyers, not borrowers, buyers, for properties that are here in Belize. One of the biggest things that I'm doing here with the company that I'm with Digitally Convert is trying to find the buyers that are willing to come to Belize and purchase properties here. So I'm heavily focused on prospecting, as you guys know. Always been kind of doing the ISA thing in the U.S. and then came down here, and I've been an agent. But seeing that these guys already are killing it with listings, the trick is to try to find the buyers, right? And so the marketing is where it's at. And I think trying to get our websites that are in the desert and bring them out into the city so that people know who we are, know that they can trust us, know that they can work with us, know that we know what we're doing in the transactions. I find when I'm talking to people that are in the U.S. or Canada, their biggest first fear is trust. Like, they don't know who to trust here. They don't know where to go. There's no MLS. That's the first concern. Their second concern is, can they keep their investment? Can they keep the property that they purchase here? Will the government take it from them? That seems to be the second concern. And then obviously the third concern is safety. And just once you get through those questions, I guess, those concerns, once you settle that, then it's back to real estate 101 and marketing 101, which is letting people know that it is amazing. Just like Gene said, coming out here, I found that people love the river just as much as they love the ocean. People love the jungle just as much as they love a good mountain view. It's amazing the different types of people that you meet working here in Belize and prospecting here. My team here, we prospect U.S. agents, usually that have individuals that are looking for investment properties. That seems to be our focus right now, through emails and calling and showing the listings of some of the amazing properties that are for sale across the country. Jonathan's land listings, where you can develop a whole community if you wanted to. We have some builders. A lot of builders come to Belize and they say, man, how can I put 4 or 5 homes up in this land, and what will they sell for? So we're talking to some builders like that. You have the people that just want to vacation here during the winter and rent it out the rest of the time, and they want to look at some of the condos that are for sale. So the prospecting is really just trying to market to those niches and look at who's already been here. So the direct flight communities that are here seem to be amazing to market to, like the people that are in Houston and Chicago and Florida, like just the direct flights. There's a lot of people that come here. Toronto, Canada is actually pretty amazing. The community that we have of Toronto, Canada individuals.
Canadians and Texans.
Canadians and Texans
all over this country. Yeah.
As you guys were talking, I was doing a very fast Google search, and I know, Gene, you got to bail. So Evil Bald Ninja, go to genevolpe.com for his marketing services.
Thank you, Gregory. Boys, it was a pleasure. I have a feeling I'll be seeing you soon.
Holler at me. Come on.
I'm not lying, bro. Listen, I love to have somebody in that spot that I can trust, that's bearded up like me.
Yeah, there you go. I got you.
Jeff Coats, I'm not sure. Josh? No, kid. You don't kid. But
first round of beers on me, man.
Yeah, it would be nice to have somebody in that spot that you can rely on, and for you guys, I would have 3 guys in that spot that I can rely on. So I'm going to show some pictures to my wife and see what she says.
Dude, you gotta trust the Triple J, man. Jonathan, Josh, and Jeff. That was the only way to go, baby. That's the Belize crew. All right, Jeff. Later, Gene.
See you, boys.
One of the things that kind of comes to mind, and we're going to start wrapping it up here for you guys, because I know you guys are busy, need to get back out there crushing it in the real estate realm. But I mean, it's I keep going back to the idea that Gene had in regards to showcasing this thing, and purely, seriously, go get some HD cameras, mount those things on locations that got rock star views, just play soothing music behind it and let people fall in love. I'm looking at videos, and I was like, with Gene, I'm like, dude, that's like legit. And my flights, I'm a 5-hour, and change flight down there with 1 stop in Houston. Okay, write everything off. It's a business move. Shit.
There you go.
That works for me.
It's a no-brainer, man.
You know what? I'll buy a place and I'll mount cameras on my place. You guys can use that, and it'll be only a fee of 75% of your commissions. How's that?
That's it. Huh? All right, we'll work something out.
Okay, so let's do this. Since Josh, you're up in front of me right now, Josh, give everybody how people can reach out to you, where you're located, and tell them kind of what you're doing again, in case they're just tuning in or just tuned out, and they buy some beach property.
I'm on Ambergris Key. San Pedro is the name of the town. Ambergris Key is the island. It is the largest island in Belize of 200 some odd islands there are. It's the largest, and it is the #1 tourist destination. You saw we're driving around on golf carts, so it's total island life out here. If you want to get a hold of me, my U.S. number is 417-793-0241. Email josh.frazier, Frazier, at 17northbelize.com, and www.belizehomesource is our website. So holler at me, track me down anyway, happy to help. Or just come on down and drink some beer with me. I don't even care if you want to buy anything, just come hang out.
My rubber arm just twisted really hard on that one.
It doesn't take much.
Your guys' real estate sites are like real estate porn. You can't stop watching this stuff. Jonathan, how can people reach out to you, and how can they reach out to kind of learn about investment opportunities and kind of the half of Belize that you own and which portion you'll be willing to sell them? So
most of my listings of customers anyway, but we can definitely help them. I'm located in Santa Elena town, which is in the Cara district, part of the San Ignacio Santa Elena, and my Belize number is +501 610 4458, and you can get me at Jonathan, that's JONATHAN, at CeibaRealtyBelize.com.
Okay.
And my website is CeibaRealtyBelize.com.
All right, that is awesome.
CEIBA.
Say that one more time. How do you spell that again?
Ceiba is CEIBA.
Good, because the dyslexic in the room, me, would have put an S there, so I'm glad there's a C. Jeff, how can people reach out to you, talk about some prospecting opportunities, or just reach out to you in general, just hang out and go ride some dirt bikes with you?
Sure. You can reach me on my number is 360-624-0497 is my U.S. number here. You can connect with me with Reset, RES3T.com. You can text me there, message me there, email me. Everything is there on the website. If you want to check out real estate, you can go to jbez.com. For prospecting, we have the call center here for real estate agents in the U.S. with Digitally Convert. We make phone calls for appointments, settings, stuff like that. If you're trying to get some good prospecting done, we kill it in that field. Or if you want to read my book, you can read Reset also, and check that out from the website too. I don't know what else you want from me.
Well, Reset is spelled RES3T.com. So RES3T for Reset for that. So, gentlemen, I want to thank you guys for coming down. What an eye-opening experience. Super interesting to kind of look at a different opportunity, a different avenue. Obviously, you guys are ahead of the curve. You saw the light before the rest of us did, and I hope that you guys will continue to thrive, not just survive down there and just crush it. Josh, I might be joining you for several beverages, and then Jonathan, I'm going to cruise up with you and check out some jungle life. I'd love to travel, so just if I show up, if you hear like a "Hey guys, it's me," you'll be like, "Who the fuck is that?" Oh, God, he took us up.
No, please come.
But thank you guys. You guys are absolutely amazing. Everyone else out there, guys, if you like this, please share this. Give us a 5-star review on Amazon. What the fuck? It's not on Amazon. On Apple, iTunes, everywhere else, on YouTube. If you guys write us a review. If you guys like this in the review on iTunes, please call out Jonathan, Josh, or Jeff, the Triple F crew down in Belize. Name them by name if you liked it. So, all right, guys, I love you to pieces. Matt doesn't like you because he's not here. I still like him, though. He's my business partner. So until next time, peace out, ninjas. We're gone.